But if you want to maintain that, you got to do that kind of.
I feel like Carti, and he kind of took a page out of Thug's book, because Thug really sustained this aura of mystique for a long time. And we're like, who the is this guy? Why does he sound like this? You feel me? Sometimes he'll be on a runway wearing a dress. Sometimes, you feel me, he's all slimed out with the goons, you feel me? Yeah. And every single thing he does is just super fascinating. But there's not much because he won't talk to nobody. Yeah.
That's how he is in real life. Like, he's not going.
You getting 20 minutes out of that guy was insane. You know what I mean? Like,
out of who?
Thug.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but then
the young Thug.
And you're right though. That was when his mystique was at its highest. And then after he did that little interview with me, he started to do a bunch of different podcasts. Now, granted, Thug is someone who can kind of like do those podcasts because he is such a weird dude.
Yeah.
That like your level of fascination with him is not necessarily going to go away as he does some podcasts.
Because he know how to put it on.
He says crazy, erratic things all the time. He talks weird as fuck. Body language is weird. Like, you would still be interested in somebody like him, but for a lot of people, that's not really available to them. You know,
I remember like he was on some red carpet. I don't know if it was the Grammys or the BET Awards. He was on some red carpet, and they caught him slipping with a random question. It was like a political question, and so, I forget what it was. But this fool Thug's like, we don't give a fuck all that. I just want to show you all these jewels and all this ice. That's what we hear about. And he caused a huge uproar, and people were super mad. And then he had that other incident at the airport where he was like going off on the two chicks that were like airport employees. They went in, and he said something that was perceived as racist.
I got a good example. Daylight. Daylight was doing a Vlad interview every week and a half for a while there, and it was like, you know, he's doing every single ridiculous gimmick that you possibly think of, and he made himself way more famous than he was previously through doing that much coverage. At a certain point, he stops doing it, and I feel like Daylight is now mysterious again, because throughout the whole Kendrick thing, people talking about him a lot, what he wrote, what he didn't write, etc. But like, because you don't really get to see him or whatever, it allows for him to start rebuilding that mystique. So it's like, it's not like the door is closed. It's just closed for a period of time, and it has to rebuild as time goes by. If you stop doing podcasts for 10 years, everybody's gonna be dying to hear what you got to say.
Hell nah.
Maybe you're right. Yeah. But if you're still famous for something else, like for me, if I stop doing podcasts for 10 years, what the fuck am I going to do? Everybody's going to forget about me at some point. That's like my whole thing in the first place.
I mean, like literally, I laid low for a few months, and when I came back to did my no jumper return, people were all interested in it. So that's definitely
you did not lay low. You were on stream every night, man.
Maybe not the best choice of words. But to answer your initial question, what should Rick Ross do to make it right?
Hell nah, man.
Throw some money.
Cash that fool the fuck fool.
He already lost his
podcast slandering me, bro. I'm not giving you shit. Listen, bro, you done listen, bro. One, you like try to sue me, it ain't work out, and then you went on 100 different podcasts, right, attacking my brand, bro. I'm not giving you a penny, not a dime, bro.
What would the right thing to do be? Like, would be instantly when bro had touched down. You feel me? Be like,
when he touched down, you bless him. Touch him.
But why though? Like,
bless him instantly. What do you mean?
He might have been in the fuck. You took my whole. What are you talking about?
You took my image, likeness, and my entire persona.
Like, nigga, you know I'm known for selling birds and shit.
He wasn't no street nigga. Right? Like, he was just like a huge drug dealer.
I mean, that's
he was. He wasn't. It don't matter. In order to sell drugs, you gotta be in the streets.
Just because he's not like openly pushing the line for a specific set, doesn't mean he's not.
Wait. Let me give you some history about the Freeway Boys, though. You know that was the first click of the Hoovers,
right? Fools know that he's. Fools know that he's. Pushes that groove line like really. Like, if you know, you know. Like,
I'm just listening like to Whack and on Clubhouse tell me that Freeway really wasn't no type of like super thug gangster. He was just a
but like that don't mean you're not a street dude though.
Rick Ross don't rap about murders. He rap about selling drugs like Rick Ross. What are you talking about?
Okay, and to be fair, when Rick Ross realized that Freeway Ricky was coming back to the world and that he was going to have to deal with his presence, he probably thought dude was just going to be a random fuck who didn't have anything going on. He didn't know that there was going to be this thing called podcast and that he was going to do 800 of them and that he was going to like completely remind the public who he was over and over and over. But despite all that, it's like, you talk about Rick Ross and you don't talk about Freeway Ricky in comparison. Now we might, but the average person is not bringing him into the conversation, as evidenced by the fact that so many people were surprised when he starts talking about this shit on Joe Rogan.
Outside the community.
Outside the community, exactly. I don't think that Rick Ross, the rapper, realized how successful he would be as well. When he was with Tony Draper, fucking with Suave House back in the 90s.
Let's poll all of Rick Ross's monthly listeners on Spotify and find out what percentage of them know about Freeway Ricky. It's probably going to be 1%. Yeah.
Well,